Good morning, children. Welcome back to the social session. Children, in the previous class, I introduced to you a new continent, Europe. We tried to understand the boundaries of the Europe, what is located on the northern side of Europe, southern side, eastern side, and western side. So, if you consider this as a Europe, okay, to the southern side, you find the Mediterranean Sea, which it divides from Africa, okay. On the eastern side, we find Ural Mountains, okay. Ural Mountains we find, and there is a continuous landmass of Asia and Europe. For that reason, we also call it as Eurasia. On the northern side, we find Arctic Circle, whereas on the western side, we find Atlantic Ocean, and this ocean divides Europe from North America. So these were the boundaries of Europe. Okay. Today we shall learn about the mountains, plains and plateaus. Of course, yesterday I told you about the Alps and about the Pyrenees, the two important mountain ranges present in the Europe. They form as a southern boundary the Caucasian mountain ranges which lie between the Caspian Sea and between the Black Sea. From the southern, they form the southern boundary of the Europe. That is the southern boundary of the Europe are formed in the Caspian Sea and Black Sea. In between, Caucasian mountain ranges are present. I will show you where these Caucasian mountain ranges are there in the textbook here. So, these are the, you can see this one. This is a Black Sea, okay. This is a Caspian Sea, and this is Caucasus. This is Caucasus, and this forms as a southern boundary of the Europe. This is Black Sea and this is a Caspian Sea. So, this is a map of Europe, okay. And yesterday we learnt about the Pyrenees mountain ranges in France and Alps in the Italy and Switzerland. You can look into the text and you can observe it. There is a, and these two are very high and they are covered with snow all around the year, and there is a lot of difference between Asia and Europe. So, we can see many plateaus in Asia, but whereas there are no large plateaus in Europe. There are only small plateaus in France, Germany, Spain, but whereas there are vast plains in Europe. There are no plateaus. You know what is a plateau and what is a plain, children? What is a plateau and what is a plain? You have any idea about it? Plateau means a highland over the surface of the sea level. That is called as a plateau. The surface of the plateau will be often uneven and rocky surface, but whereas plain is a evenly distributed land which will be very fertile. So, very small plateaus are present in Europe, whereas very vast plains are present in Europe. So, these plains stretches across several countries like Russia, Ukraine, Poland, Belarusia, etc. So, among these countries, you find the vast plains, and these plains experience heavy snowfall and bitter colds in winter season. When the snow melts in summer, small streams also start flowing and they form as a rivers also here, and it is from these plains only that rivers like Dnieper and the Volga, the longest river in Europe is called as Volga, and this Volga takes its birth from these plains region only, from Russia, okay, and Ukraine, Belarusia, from these Poland, from these regions which are the vast plains, from there only the Europe's longest river Volga takes its birth. European rivers are also used not only for irrigating the fields, but they are also the major waterways where the ships and barrages ply on these rivers, and they can transport people and goods also from one place to another. Since these rivers flow across several countries, they also facilitate the international trade. Easy movement of goods can take place by the movement of these water. And you know, children, Rhine is one of the, in respect of Rhine is one of the most important rivers as it flows through the several countries, and it empties itself in the North Sea. So, this Rhine acts as a navigable canal or transportation channel for the entire Europe. There are several major industrial and mining cities that are open on the open sea, and thus they are linked to the intercontinental trade. Rhine works as an intercontinental trade. Unlike Rhine, the Volga drains into Caspian Sea, which is a vast lake. Rhine drains into North Sea, but whereas Volga drains into Caspian Sea. That means draining is nothing but flowing into. It joins finally into the sea. So, which is a vast lake to the open sea. Through this riverway is not possible. Thus, the cities on the Volga are not linked to the transcontinental trade through the waterways, but the cities which are present on the coast of Rhine are connected with the transcontinental trade. When you look at the peninsulas, islands, bays and gulfs. So now we shall move on to the peninsula, children. Peninsula. What is a peninsula, children? A landmass which has water on its three sides is called as a peninsula. A landmass which has water on its three sides is called as a peninsula. What is an island? A landmass which is completely covered on its four sides with water is called as island. So what is a gulf and what is a bay are the two important terms which we shall understand today. So what is a gulf and what is a bay? You know Gulf countries. Gulf countries. What is a gulf? G-U-L-F. What is a gulf? And what is bay? Bay of Bengal. What is a bay? We shall understand the difference between these two also in today's class, children. The sea coast of Europe is very jagged. Jagged means it is not smooth like this. It is like this. Okay, this is called as jagging. The Europe coast is completely jagged. In several places it appears that the sea has cut deep into the land, as in the case of the Baltic Sea. You can see the Baltic Sea, that sea has cut into the landmass. So such kind of thing, where elsewhere it would appear that a part of the land got stretched far into the sea, as in the case of Italy. So you have seen in the case of Italy that land got stretched into the Mediterranean Sea. So Italy is surrounded on its three sides by water. So Italy is considered as a peninsula. And you can see on the fourth side it is connected with the mainland. On its remaining three sides it's covered with the water. So if it is three sides water, we call it as a peninsula. If it is four sides water, it is called as a island. So here we consider Italy as a peninsula. Norway and Sweden is also considered as a peninsula. You can check this out in the map. So you can put a European map in front of you and you can check that peninsulas, what are the peninsulas which I am discussing today. And the peninsula, this peninsula is also called as the Scandinavian peninsula, where Norway, Sweden, Denmark, these countries are present. It is also called as a Scandinavian peninsula. The sea surrounds some of the European countries, not just on three sides but on all the four sides, and these are called as the island countries. Great Britain is one such country which is called as a island. So Great Britain, on its four sides it's covered with the water. Since ancient times the seas have played very important role in the lives of the people of these European countries, whether it is island or peninsula. Central and southern European countries is largely mountainous. Travel and transport over them is both difficult and expensive, but in comparison to sea transport is very easy and less expensive. This is the reason why Europeans have been extensively using the sea routes since ancient days to travel to different countries and continents, and they were well developed than the other parts of the world. The presence of a large number of bays and gulfs also facilitated the use of the sea routes, bays and gulfs. What is a bay and what is a gulf? If you look at this, there are parts of the sea which are enclosed by the land on its three sides. In a bay, the land curves inwards, and the mouth of the bay is usually very wide, as in the Bay of Bengal. A gulf is a narrow inlet of the sea into the land. That means the entire Baltic Sea, as you can see, is considered as a gulf. I'll show you what is a bay now in the picture here. So this is a picture, children. Here you can see this is a water inlet, narrow water inlet into the land is called as a bay. This is called as a bay. You find this is all blue color is water, and this is a water inlet into the land. So this is called as a bay. You find a narrow, very wide inlet into the mouth of the land. So that is called as a bay. And what is a gulf? In a gulf, the narrow inlet of the sea you find and has a narrow mouth, and the entire Baltic Sea, as you can see in the map, is considered as a large gulf. Even the Gulf countries, Arabia is a Gulf country. Okay, so you can find many countries in the region of Arabian Sea or in the Indian Ocean, where you find the gulfs. Since the bays and gulfs are protected from the storms and by the high seas, they are very useful. They are very useful for building the harbors, even for the shipping, and the ships can be carefully anchored. They can be stopped. You know, anchoring, they can stationed there. If you put a ship on the water, it keeps on moving. When you anchor it, okay, it can be stable. So that anchoring of the ships can be done very easily on such a region. Deep gulfs or bays are preferred for building the ships also. The building of the ships can be done, and as a large ships can be loaded or unloaded here. And ships needs very deep water to travel, so that their bottoms do not touch to the sea floor. So these deep gulfs and deep bays will allow the ships to move very easily to the land and can be loaded and unloaded. So tomorrow in the class we shall understand about the climate of Europe, children. Thank you.